Hi guys, it's Lisa and welcome to this week's episode of the CODI cast. Today we'll be talking about all things relating to TikTok influencers. And today I am joined by the amazing Rach. Woo! Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yay! So actually, before we kick things off, can you just tell us a little bit about what you do at CODI Agency? Because this is your first time on the CODI podcast.
It is. So I am a lead digital strategist here on the senior team. So managing all things strategy, all things influencers, and all things paid with some of our paid clients as well.
You are actually, honestly, so smart. I get intimidated sometimes talking to you because you know so much about so many topics, and it's actually really exciting being surrounded by, honestly, the team are incredible. Like, just people you can bounce off, people you can learn from every day. So I do thank you for all of the knowledge that you have, I was gonna say imparted, I don't think that's the word, and departed is definitely not the right word, you've given to me. I was thinking that's nice and easy.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with given to me. But a big part of what you do is you work in our influencer department. And I know that a lot of brands utilize influencers to spread brand awareness and create content. So I'm excited to talk a little bit more about the topic of TikTok influencers, because I would say that that's probably one of the most underutilized group of influencers. So can you tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the weird and wacky world of TikTok influencers?
It's a big one, and it's a big, weird world out there. There's so many different niches and pockets of influencers, and they're all talking about different things. But it's something that a lot of brands need to get onto ASAP. It's growing rapidly, not even weekly or monthly, it's daily by the hour. And there's so much potential right now to be on the platform, especially with influencers.
Can I say, a lot of people work with, or a lot of brands have worked in the past with Instagram influencers, for example. Why do you think that brands should be open to considering TikTok influencers?
Yeah, so with TikTok influencers, like there's a couple of factors that come into play. Obviously, the platform is still developing and evolving. So you've got the actual cost of the influencers that are lower compared to other more established platforms. You've got that, which is something you can really double down on right now. Another thing, and even the most important thing, is actually the reach. So the way that the algorithm is set up on TikTok, it actually allows that content to be pushed out even further. So brands really can be leveraging this even more than Reels. And even though that's really important on Instagram, pushing this out on TikTok is, it's the place that you need to be playing right now.
Honestly, the reach on TikTok is crazy. Like,
Insane.
I can't believe it. I'll just be looking, and sometimes it's the worst content as well. Like, how has this piece of content got 1 million, 2 million, 3 million views? It just is like a person sitting on a chair or something. Like, it's so bizarre what goes viral on TikTok. Like, how does the algorithm even work?
Yeah, it's incredible. We were only speaking about this on a strategy meeting today, actually, in terms of how do you find that balance between good content and reach. And sometimes it's actually hard to say, this influencer has really good content, but the reach might not be there. So you really have to find that balance. And sometimes it's not as predictable as people think. And you've got to really go and create that weird and wacky content, and sometimes that performs the best. So it's really about testing, and that's why influencers on this platform is such a benefit right now, because they're more open to creating that kind of content.
Do you feel like the way you brief TikTok influencers is different to how you brief Instagram influencers?
A little bit, yeah. So we give them a little bit more creative discretion, and a little bit more, opportunity to create content that is a little bit more weird, and where they can get a bit more creative on the platform. Obviously, you've got in-app features too that they can play with. So yeah, the briefing is a little bit different, and obviously each platform will vary too.
That's actually a really good point about in-app features. Can you touch on that a little bit? Because I would say that I don't know if you'd call it like augmented reality features on TikTok, but the filters and things they have are actually crazy. Honestly, it's so depressing sometimes. So I'll be trying filters. I'm like, oh my God, I look amazing. And then I take the filter off. I'm like, holy crap, I look so foul without a filter. So,
Yeah, it is. It's crazy, and people love it. And we've come into a period of time now where these features and these things in this on the platform, it's something that people are using more and more. And even that augmented reality, even coming into a period where you've got the metaverse, you've got things like that happening. Companies are leveraging that. You're then able to use that augmented reality even in app to actually promote products, which is really cool.
oh my God, don't say metaverse. You'll get me literally started on a whole
Oh
nother.
no, what have I done?
They would be like, stick to TikTok, stop thinking about Web3. But yeah, you're right in terms of the metaverse and that being the next evolution of the internet and online as we know it. And I feel that even with TikTok, it's going to be rapidly moving towards something similar. I know that they teamed up with Immutable, which is an Aussie company, last year to do NFTs, which I thought was quite interesting for some of their creators. So I feel that this year they're probably going to have a massive focus on rewarding creators, which is something that I think a lot of platforms are doing now. I was actually just having a chat to LinkedIn and they're doing something similar as well, because there's a fight for attention. There's a fight for even just creator time and creator effort. So I think that this year it's going to be like a big war for creator talent on all platforms. So it'll be interesting to see which ones really focus on the creators and look after them, because they, creating content's bloody like a full-time job.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's such a big part of a brand's strategy. And if you do not have these content and creator relationships and pushing that, influencer strategy through TikTok, if that's not part of your marketing plan and your marketing strategy, then what are you doing? Like, you need to be doubling down on this platform and leveraging these influencers, leveraging those relationships with them, so that they can then be pumping out that content that you can use across, organic, social, paid campaigns, and even just, getting that reach out there for your products and whatever you're selling.
Yeah, actually, on the topic of reach, I think a lot of people focus on follower number. So when they want to work with influencers, they'll naturally go, oh, I want one with 1 million followers or 100,000 followers. And sometimes we see that it's actually better to engage with what we call nano or micro influencers. So firstly, can you define, I guess, how we define those levels of influencers and why actually using them over your bigger influencers can actually be advantageous?
Yeah, definitely. So at CODI, and you'll see it vary in terms of numbers, but we're sort of looking at those nanos to be under that 10K mark. You've got the micros to be, around that 10 to even that 50K, 100K mark, depends on the platform. We're kind of looking at that obviously on TikTok. That follower number seems to be rapidly increasing daily. So the way that we define that compared to Instagram is a bit different. And then you've really got that 100K plus, which can be that macro. So with the nanos, advantages, obviously you've got the cost of a nano and a micro, which is much lower, but you've also got people who sometimes have a higher engagement rate. They're more willing to get a little bit more creative about the content, and it's something that you can actually leverage and use more of them, and then you can use that content for, again, your organic campaigns, paid campaigns. There's heaps of advantages there.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting because more often than not, you see the engagement rate of the smaller influencers significantly higher because they've got time to actually talk to their audience, respond to comments. And, if you're looking for, I guess, to engage an influencer that is going to drive some sort of conversation, more often than not, the smaller ones will do that. And I think, more brands need to be open to not just looking at that vanity metric number, which, Paige was talking on a previous podcast episode about how we actually prefer to look at things like engagement over following metrics. But I think brands need to be a bit more focused on engagement as opposed to necessarily just a following number, which is more of like a vanity metric.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you need to be looking at engagement. It's something that we at CODI really use as a success metric for any campaign. when you're trying to find on TikTok what type of influencer and what size influencer that you want to be working with, don't just look at that follower size. You need to be looking at, what do you want to get out of that campaign? What do you want to see? Where is this content going? What channels are you repurposing it on? Then work backwards. And that's something that we go in depth in when we work out strategy at CODI. And it's looking at all of those things to then work out, how do we work with nanos? How do we work with macros? And the benefits of both.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, the interesting thing about TikTok is people perceive it to be a very young demographic on the platform, and that's definitely not the case. There's old people like me on the platform. I was looking at my stats yesterday for usage, and I somehow spend 2 hours a day on TikTok. Like, doing what? And then 3 hours on LinkedIn.
It's ridiculous.
Like, how am I actually getting any work done? It's not good. Very inefficient.
It's a rabbit hole, but that's how we, that's how we get to know the platform, and that's why we know the ins and outs of it, because we're on there and we're learning about it, and we're seeing the features and actually using them in real time, which is really, really handy. And not every marketer does that.
That's true. I just use the excuse that I'm just working, guys. I'm on TikTok for 5 hours. This is research. But do you think that influencers, say like we're focusing on TikTok, so I would say the influencer campaigns on TikTok are reasonably successful because the content tends to be a lot more authentic, and it's not so produced, which I really love. Do you feel that influencers can also work for an older demographic as well, or do you think it's more of the younger generation that benefit from using influence? Oh, I guess they get influenced by influencers.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're seeing now is, like any platform, when Instagram first started, it was a younger generation and demographic that was using the platform. Now, as that platform's evolved, you're seeing a lot of older demographics and audience segments actually on the platform. And this is what we're starting to see develop on TikTok as well. So we've got a couple of clients that we've developed this strategy, and we're actually first to market in getting that older demographic and really, really pushing that content out to them because we're starting to see that they're actually starting to use the platform.
Oh my God, it's so sad that I'm considered to be an older demographic.
When your mum starts using TikTok, that those demographics are starting to use it. So it's definitely a thing.
Time to get off.
Yeah.
It is actually interesting to see whether Facebook can bring back a younger demographic with Meta and then move into the metaverse, because they've definitely ignored that the younger demographic for quite a while, which is why their demographic tends to skew significantly older. And of course, people don't want to be where their parents are
exactly.
on a social media platform.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, interesting to see that wave.
It'd be so awkward to see your parents commenting on like a thirst trap photo or something.
Cringe.
Absolutely cringe. But it's funny because even during the pandemic, you see people bring in their families, like they'll pull in their parents to do dancing. And I don't know, maybe that generation isn't as embarrassed by their parents as maybe my generation, because the last thing I want to do is be posting content with my parents, but I see that Gen Z post content with their parents all the time, and I think it's actually really cute.
Yeah, it's like, especially during the pandemic and everything happening, this kind of content's actually bringing people together. So there's so much opportunity on the platform, even just for, that human connectedness and for brands to leverage that. Oh, so much opportunity.
Amazing. Well, maybe I need to up my TikTok game because I'm very bad on the platform. I just can't dance, and I can't lip sync, and I can't do beauty stuff. And I'm like, what can I do? It's just so bad. But I think I need to work out some sort of niche so I can start becoming a TikTok influencer. But thank you so much for your time today, Rach. I really loved our chat.
That's okay. Yeah, it was really good to speak about it. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you like what you've heard, make sure you hit that review, like, subscribe button, rating, give us a rating, leave us a nice message, and also feel free to reach out and let us know if you want to hear any topics discussed on the show. So looking forward to the next episode, and thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.